Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is round 4. It's called the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. This is round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. We are at the halfway point once we wrap it up, but we have to start things off with qualifying. Ryan Sage, we're here once again, this very dynamic track. Yes, we see a lot of oval banks, but nothing like Wall Stadium. The degree of angle and the driving prowess, but again, we're at the halfway point already. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the track is definitely a menace. It's got that 33-degree bank, and we've seen a lot of action, especially in the head-to-head matchups. But like you said, today is qualifying. It's a beautiful day. We've got a nice breeze, sunny conditions, and looking forward to a great way to kick off the midway point of the season.
And would you think we'd be at this point with James Dean, announcing him and Peter Vincek making their, reintroduction for James Dean, but Peter making his debut in FD? Do you think we'd be at this point as dominant as James Dean is, winning round 1 and winning our last round in Atlanta?
Well, it certainly has brought in a new paradigm. I mean, especially with James, who had that win in round 1 and in round 3. We saw him a little bit absent in round 2, but his driving has been unbelievable. He's been able to adjust to the banks and overall just come out as a strong contender and really changed the way that we view the championship chase.
All right, so speaking of championship chase and James Dean, let's take a look back through the rounds. Again, so dominant in Long Beach, debuting this brand new 2JZ built S15 and just out of the gate, just with precision.
Yeah, what we saw is him come out and really do kind of an a la Frederick Osbo with very high qualifying. He was the #1 qualifier at the beginning there, and then taking that event. Now, at what we saw at Orlando is we saw some great driving. One of the best chase drivers driving we've seen by Jonathan Castro, where he was able to take out James Dean. But James recentered his attention, focused on Road Atlanta, and worked through a very challenging lineup to take home the win at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it was again, just he was still buzzing off of Long Beach, and I think he took that momentum, what he learned in Orlando, and really just needed to step it up and brought it all together in Atlanta. But Atlanta traditionally is our second round, but now the third round, and here we are at Wall Stadium, a very fun, as you said, a beautiful day. The wind is coming through, as you can hear. The fans are going to be packing this place out, but let's take a look at our current standings, and this is how we have it. James Dean out front. Dean, Carnage, look at this. I mean, completely international affair. 1, 2, and 3. Not defending champion, but previous champion Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer in 3rd. Ryan Turk and Vaughn Gittin Jr. rounding out 4th and 5th.
And then in 6th place, we have Michael Essa, a very strong contender, and Kristaps Blues, who had an amazing performance at Road Atlanta. Alex Hilbrun, who's looking to strike during the second half of the season after starting off very strong in the first. Forsberg with that new vehicle coming out, debuting this weekend, and finally rounding out our top 10, Alec Honadale.
And then with that, we're going to bring in Ryan Lontaine to break down what the judges are looking for and taking a look at this track.
All right, so in here with Ryan and talking about today's event format, our qualifying day, just give us a little bit of a rundown of what fans can expect to see here on qualifying day.
So today in qualifying, the drivers are going to be doing 2 non-consecutive runs. The drivers are going to receive a score on each run, and we're going to keep the higher of those 2 scores. 32 drivers are going to move into head-to-head competition that will happen tomorrow. And we're going to break any ties according to the lower qualifying score.
One of the things that you guys did this year in particular, which some of the hardcore fans might recognize, is that we've gone back to the 2015 layout.
We have.
So walk us through the track map and some of the key areas that you guys are looking at judging-wise.
So as you look at the map here, you can see that we're doing the peanut shape this year. No more crossover. Each of those sectors is worth 5 points, except for the first one, which is worth 10. That's that big wall ride that we have to do all the way around the top of the bank. And we have a bunch of inside clips that they need to attain. And the finish is a really difficult finish, actually, for the guys here. That inside clip 3 is really tough to attain.
And these point allocations, so some of the new fans that might be paying attention would like to know that basically those are for line and for angle.
They are, yeah. So that score that you see up there is a possible 35 points for both line and then 35 points for angle as well.
And then we move right into style, and let's talk a little bit about what style is in particular and how the points allocation works.
So style is broken down into 3 criteria, and we refer to the little acronym that we have, IFC. So you're looking at initiation, fluidity, and commitment. So the initiation side of things, we have a cone up on the guardrail over there, and that's going to show us where the latest initiation point is. They need to be sideways by that point. The rotation to angle needs to be really smooth, and they need to not take any angle away once they've initiated. Also, fluidity, looking at how settled the car is throughout the entire course. The rotations, the transitions from side to side, are they really smooth? Does it look really controlled, but also very smooth? Commitment side of things will be how close they get to barriers, but how they use use the vehicle's momentum to get near those barriers and how confident they look getting to them, and then using their throttle really smoothly and really consistently throughout the entire course.
Now, one of the things that every driver is trying to do is go for that perfect 100-point run, but of course there's going to be mistakes.
Yep.
But sometimes there's mistakes that are just too big. They used to be called zeros. Now they're called incomplete. So what are the incompletes in qualifying?
So we only have 3 hard and fast incompletes in qualifying. We have spinning out, so a total loss of control where the car will spin completely on the track. Then we have opposite drift, so that would indicate that the car is drifting in the opposite direction that it should be on that point in the track. That means that it has the angle opposite of what it should on that part of the track. And then anything latchable opening, so hood, hatch, trunk, and or doors opening during a run. Now, this doesn't mean that we're not allowed to give as an incomplete for something else that occurs, like a total loss of control, where they might stay on track, but they've just completely lost control of the car, maybe gone 4, 3, even sometimes 2 wheels off if it's deemed excessive enough in terms of duration.
All right, so Ryan Lantain breaking down the judging criteria for today here at qualifying, the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet here at the Black Badger Formula Drift Championship presented by Blackview Dashcam. We'll see you soon.
This presentation of Formula Drift has been brought to you by Blackview, Over the Cloud, Nexen Tire, Driving Tomorrow, Nitto Tire, Fueled by Enthusiasts. Advanced Auto Parts, let's get you back on the road.
When I was a kid.
All right, well, as you can see, we are here and we are ready to do battle with this course. Not so much me and I, but our drivers are about to throw down. First up, we have Robbie Nishida. He debuted a new car at the previous round of competition. That is Atlanta. So, Ryan Sage, we have Robbie Nishida, the Bushido Blade, Achilles Radial, Jerry Yang racing this GTR. Definitely a cool looking car. Looks great, but can it perform? It seemed to have a few issues. Also, all right. All right, so again, we are ready to see our first driver and their qualifying run. As you saw the format earlier, each driver 2 non-consecutive runs. Also, let it run again, Ryan.
Yeah, Robbie Nishida looking a bit more comfortable coming out of Road Atlanta, starting off with a pretty decent run here. You can see as he comes off the line, making his way down that front straight here, initiates nice and early there, tries to stay high up on the bank. The judges really want to see you get deep into that bank as you can, then coming down off into that first inside clip. And heading out of here into the second outer zone. And then right here on this second to last inside clip, good angle there, nice movement by Robbie all the way around. And a good first pull for him as he'll have one in the books and one more to go.
Okay, so the judges analyzing. As long as you get a score on the board, you will be making it into head-to-head competition. But unfortunately, for Taylor Hull, that will be a 0. Okay, so again, Taylor Hull, that will be a 0, unfortunately for him. As next up, we will be seeing Pat Gooden. Pat Gooden not in the chute just yet. We have the burnout box, and now I can see him making his way down this Huddy Racing O'Reilly Auto Parts Hankook Tire S13, coming to us from Florida. On the Hankook tires, making his way. Pat Gooden looked really strong in Atlanta, so looking for him to really put it together here in New Jersey. This is similar to his home track, Orlando Speed World. Quite a larger degree of bank, but he does well on these bank tracks. Here we go. Pat Gooden, spray 9 on the doors, so we can spray some Hankook tire up high. The 46, you can see it on the roof, looking more NASCAR-esque, dropping it down. Let's see how smooth, good transition. You can see the suspension really just absorbing, the BC Racing coilovers absorbing that harsh to flat. Takes out that Black Magic Intense tire shine. And there we go, past that final area. Let's look at this again.
Well, we get a good opportunity here to kind of see exactly what the judges were painting during the downtime between practice and now. You can see right there, Pat Gooden initiates, gets right back on throttle. They want to see a really fast approach, and then coming through here to this first inside clip, they want to see the right amount of angle with momentum flowing through that first inside clip. And then here, as we come through the second outer zone, you're going to see right here on the second inside clip, Pat's going to tap it just a little bit and then reach out to this touch and go. Now from the touch and go, the judges are looking for a nice smooth line to that last inside clip with acceleration all the way through the finish line. So a good first run there for Pat. He'll have one in the books, and he will head back and make preparations for run number 2.
Ryan, you can see there that that menacing wall. That is the razor's edge. That thing will bite you. It'll cut you, and it's claimed some victims over the years. 12 years we've been coming here to Wall, New Jersey. There's Pat Gooden's score, 73. So a 73 there for Patrick Gooden. Next up, Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett, living in Southern California, owner and operator of his own Rad Industries. He's on Nexen Tires. Great looking Toyota Supra. Looks like he's been having a lot of fun here on the East Coast. Looking at some of his Instagram stories. Him, his wife, and his team. As Dan Burkett, I could see him off in the distance warming up his tires. So if you're not here in the building, it's a great day, beautiful day. Forecast tomorrow looks promising, just a potential of a little bit of moisture in the morning, but by game time, it's a go. So, also we've got a nice stiff wind, which ends up helping us out because it does clear out the wind. If you can recall, or if you saw our previous round in Atlanta, the smoke would just linger and really impede on not only the drivers but the fans and even the judges. You got to make sure that you could see all the action. So Dan Burkett makes his way into the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. This is round 4 already. Again, as we come to an end tomorrow and we celebrate and pop some champagne, that is officially the halfway mark. It's crazy. It's already June. And here comes Dan Burkett. See how Dan Burkett throws it down, just progressively, just really excelling as a driver as far as car setup as well. Yeah, nice job. Car looks very composed as it slams down. Actually, I should say not even slam. Again, one of the only rotary in Formula Drift competition as it stands. Really working the car, and you can hear him lifting considerably into that final radius turn, and Mohan shuts her down. So as I said, one of the only rotary in Formula Drift competition. Seemed to be not 100%. I don't know. Like I know he's had some issues here and there. So Ryan, analyzing, we don't have a replay for Kyle Mohan, but just taking a look at that and kind of some of the things he's been going through this year. Just again, the rotary in itself.
Well, some of the key points on this run is you'd like to see him as he comes in with a 61. That'll put him in 4th place, but you'd like to see him get a little bit higher on the bank. And as you talked about towards that touch and go, you know, you had that big lift there. You really want to try to keep momentum. There's only a few sections on this course where we have those deceleration areas where judges are expecting drivers to actually lift a little bit or drop in momentum. But for the most part, this is a very big throttle track. And we're going to see a lot of that tomorrow, especially in Outer Zone 2, where we have some things we'll want to talk about in terms of the way that the judges have laid out the course in order to maximize the closeness between both drivers and really get that really cool tandem battle that we love to see.
Yeah, and especially just out of the gate on that big menacing bank. Again, 30 degrees. Daytona's 31, so it just gives you an idea of how steep it truly is. Cameron Moore, Nameless Performance, BN Sports, Nexen Tires, GT86 from Battleground, Washington. Deemed the butcher because during the week he's a butcher, and during the weekend at FD, he's trying to butcher the track. Here we go, Cameron Moore. Debuting this new car last year, he's in an SC chassis. Whoa, big, nice job, like that. That aggressive initiation towards the wall, slamming down. A 2JZ setup similar to that of Ryan Turks. Oh, you see them kind of drop at an angle. He regains it. Not a complete straight in there from Cameron Moore. Gets out to that touch and go and then works his way back to that final front clip. Ryan, so kind of recounting Cameron Moore's run here.
Yeah, he started off really nice and high on the bank, had a good transition into that first inside clip. He was on about the 3rd hash mark, so just a little bit off there. But as we saw as he comes into outer zone number 2, you can see he's going to fall out of the zone. He almost has to reinitiate a little bit. He comes back around to that 2nd inside clip, does a much better job there, fills that touch and go completely, and then draws a nice, smooth line to that final inside clip through the finish line.
So that touch and go box there, you could see it just as they go past that 2nd front clip, the Black Magic Intense tire spray, and they're to 74. 74 for Cameron Moore, Ryan. No. Okay, so working our way through the drivers. Currently ranked 22nd as far as points go. from Los Angeles, from Sun Valley, California, the Doc S14 Edelbrock supercharged LS under the hood of this 240SX of Jeff Jones. He's on Hankook tires. Looked like he had some issues earlier in practice. Hopefully got it worked out, and he's ready to tear it up. Pulling to the start. Here comes Jeff Jones. All right, we are getting word. Track is clear, and we're ready to see Jeff hit the track. Let's see how he fares. Straight line approach, works his way. Tiny bit of wavering, but as you said, Ryan, throttling down, taking out that first front clip, getting into the crease. Tucks it in, good transition, about that first or second out to touch and go. That's that, you know, there are portions where you can decel. Look at that, just barely kissing that final front clip as Jeff exits stage left.
Well, Jeff Jones was asking some very pointed questions in the drivers' meeting this morning, trying to figure out what type of angle the judges are looking for on that first inside clip coming off the bank. And, you know, he did a pretty good job on the first half of the bank. The second part, he kind of came down a little bit. And what the judges are looking for on that first inside clip is the maximum amount of angle that your car can carry while keeping the momentum consistent through that zone without, or that inside clip without slowing down, and then being able to slot your rear bumper right into that second outer zone and throttling it all the way through to that inside clip. So there's very few areas where they want to see slowdown or they expect slowdown, especially through this first inside clip as we take a look at Jeff Jones' score. Jeff
Jones is 74. So, you know, not the highest, but as you can see, a score nonetheless. So a good execution there from the relentless one, Jeff Jones. And finished driver, Juha Rintanen, STR Racing Wheels, Nexen Tire, S15. Pulling to the start line. Juha, another driver that progressively is just getting better and better with each round and more seat time behind the wheel. Here comes Juha Rintanen. Nexen Tires go ablaze. Very quick through that outside zone, tight to that front clip. Juha Rintanen really working for it. You can see the STR wheels poised. Good, consistent throttle. You can hear the throttle working all the way through. A little bit of sputtering there, but again, that decel area, nice job. Juha Rintanen, phenomenal qualifying run there. Will it, and how will it be reflected in his score? Great run, Ryan.
Well, he really rode that bank nice and high all the way through to the guardrail at the end, and as he came into that first inside clip, he was accelerating all the way through. Had that quick lift right there to get into outer zone 2, which is completely acceptable. Then he's back on the throttle with good angle, and then right at that second inside clip, a very smooth transition, gets into that touch and go. Great job there, and then draws a nice smooth line, pretty fluid, maybe just a little bit tight through that last inside clip.
Very buttery, just very smooth was a word that came to my mind when I saw this run, and that smoke signal, that the trail just showing you that that he does have good throttle control. Smoke is not a factor by any means, but it just shows you, again, keeping it consistent, keeping the tire momentum up, keeping the wheel speed up. And Juha, now our #1 qualifying driver with an 88 for Juha Rintanen, an 88 for Juha from Finland. Next up, Ken Gushi. Ken Gushi, you know, finishing quite well in previous years. He's had some bad luck over the past few rounds. He's currently sitting in 20th, a Formula Drift veteran in this Gretty Racing Nexen Tires Toyota Racing GT86. From Montebello, California, here comes the OG, Ken Gushi. You can see some kind of reservation acceleration, some shimming there into that first initiation. Big angle there from Goosh, bring it in. You could see him flicking it into that outer zone. Seemed like it was almost too early now. Back around that final front clip. So way off of that second outer zone, but then nice into the touch and go and works it. About 1.5 tally marks is Ken Gushi.
Well, Jared, you know, part of the story this year for Gushi has been, you know, struggling with a few car issues and really trying to, you know, allow his driving style to, you know, take him where he wants to be. He was a contender a couple years ago. He was trying to make that up, and that initiation from the onset, just, to me, we had a little bit of car problems written all over. It didn't really seem like it was a really true Ken Gushi run there. Let's take a look at it here. He's going to get a late start. You can see he tries to snap it right there. It doesn't. He has a late initiation, so he's definitely going to get a big deduction there. You can see he does a much better job on the bank up towards the guardrail there, and then right on this inside clip. Nice and tight. Now he's going to be on the inside line here. The judges want to see you get very deep, and that's going to cause him to narrowly miss this second inside clip on the other side of the course. Better job there on the touch and go, though. He does go up on there. So this is probably going to be a keeper for Ken Gushi. I don't know how they're going to judge the initiation, but definitely he's going to want to get a second run there and try to move his way up, because you do not want to, you know, challenge the top drivers in the 32 if you can avoid it. You want to try to qualify as high as you can, give yourself the best shot to be in a bracket that you can fight competitors and try to make your way to the final.
Yeah, for Ken Gushi, as you said, his driving style and what's going on, just the Gremlins just keep showing and rearing their ugly heads, and it's not doesn't speak to Ken Gushi's talent and his team. So it's really unfortunate to see him deal with those problems. Next up, JTP Justin Pollock, as we wait for Ken Gushi's score. JTP already on the start line. Roush Performance, Ford Mustang on Falcon tires. Justin really likes going for the gusto as far as his initial initiation, so we'll see what goes down.
Yeah, just overhearing here, Jared, it just sounds like the judges are, you know, talking through that initiation. I mean, it was really, if you take a look at the on course here, if you're live, and you can see that last standing yellow cone out there is basically the latest initiation point, and Ken was a little bit past that when he started his initiation. A little bit before when he started it, but actually when he got into initiation was, you know, a lot further past it. So I think the judges are taking a look at that. Was that way past it to where, you know, he was not even drifting in the section of course that he should. So we'll see. The judges do have discretion to award incompletes for things that they deem necessary, and this may be part of what they're talking about right now.
Yeah, scoreable run as opposed to just, as you said, a deduction. Let's take a look at this again. Here's the replay. Ryan, there's that. Yeah, I mean, he's nearly a quarter way around that bank.
Yeah, you can see he tries to initiate right at that last standing cone, but he actually doesn't even get into the drift until about right at the first corner of the bank. So that was definitely a very, very late initiation, and almost like a double initiation where he tried to, couldn't get it, and then had to reinitiate.
Bit of a stutter step. Judges still taking a look at the run, and we are finding out that it is not a scoreable run, so that will be an incomplete. As we talked about, this just does not speak to Ken Gushi's driving prowess nor his team, so I'm sure they're going to thrash, and now the pressure lies on Ken Gushi's shoulders. Can he get a score on his second qualifying run? He'll have another shot, but he's got to wait for the other 27 drivers to have their either first or second run. JTP Justin Pollock leaving the start line. He's ready to go to battle with this Wall Stadium Speedway course. Quick pump of the brakes, gets the car to set and into the wall. Just working it. Big angle there. See the car, I mean, it looks just unbound right now. Justin Pollock on a tear. Will this knock down Juha Rintanen? We have a new #1 qualifier. Let's see, Pollock just tipping over that final front clip.
Well, Jared, we've seen some phenomenal driving from Justin Pollock this year, some things that he's done on an individual basis on qualifying runs and in tandem where it just has blown our minds, sometimes backward entries. And here, this is a great start to his #1 qualifying run. You can see right here a nice snappy transition, quick rate to angle, and then he locks into that bank. Now that rear wheel is going to get all the way up past that, past the line that goes right to the wall and the guardrail, and he stays there. And then he's through that first inside clip with plenty of momentum, great angle, sets himself up perfectly for that second outer zone, which he fills. Great job right there on that second inside clip, out to the touch and go, and again drawing that very smooth line, just nicking that last inside clip, but a great run for Justin Pollock.
And there it is, a 91 for JTP. He is now your #1 qualifier. Justin Pollock, the Roush Performance Falcon Tires, Lucas Oil Ford Performance Mustang is now your #1 qualifier. The Kalamazoo Killer JTP locks it in, is currently your #1 qualifier. More Mustangs, more tires to be burned, but of the Nitto variety. Chelsea DeNofa, say howdy, get rowdy. We'll see if he can get rowdy with this Mustang. BC Racing Coilovers. Listening to his Maximum Driftcast blog just yesterday, just catching up on some of the dialogue, and he's happy that he says he's happy that he kind of messed up under his own accord versus the car failing on him. So he knows he has a capable car, just how can he manage it? And as far as the engine and the power on call, he says it's all there. So he has the makings of some success. He's claiming a podium real soon, but it starts here with qualifying for Chelsea DeNofa. Another consistent throttle note coming out of the backside as Chelsea DeNofa. The Forge Line wheels go round and transition back. You can see that he just almost threw it out there, then lassoed it and brought it back in. About the second hash mark. I don't think that's enough to take down the 91, but a solid run there from DeNofa.
Well, I think the general consensus with DeNofa is we've been waiting for him to kind of pop this season, at any point have a breakout moment. He's had some really amazing runs in qualifying and in practice and really impressed all of us. And you can see here just the amount of precision that he has as he makes his way through the course, hits his second outer zone here. Great job. You can see the throttle. You can see that front tire lift there, that classic Mustang move from the ASD crew. And then right around here onto that touch and go, keeps the throttle on, draws a nice smooth line. He's a little tiny bit long on that last inside clip, but like you said, Jared, overall.
The Mustang RTRs, Chelsea judges, as you can see, Pollock sitting in first, Rintanen, DeNofa, Burkett, Mott. Seeing the itinerary of the rest of the drivers, pretty sure that won't stand as far as top three, but still a very respectful score and one to grow on as far as learning this course and getting comfortable with this very unforgiving track. I mean, it has one wall to rule them all. That serrated edge knife that is the wall at the wall. It'll cut you. Get your tetanus shots, kids. Want to make sure. If you touch that wall, man, it'll bite you. It'll bite you, Lantain. You scared of that wall? You know what that wall said about your mom, man? Jonathan Castro, if you were watching Orlando, you can recall a fantastic run by Jonathan Castro. I think it brought a tear to a lot of fans' eyes, having some words with one of our staff members, Brandon, who couldn't make Orlando. He was hyped watching on his couch. Ryan Sage even shed a tear with Lorette Nickel in his interview, and it was one for the books. But right now he's going to do battle with this track. Jadot, Mental Dome. Next in tires, Papadakis Racing, GT86. He's back for more. Castro into the second outer zone. Doesn't get all the way out to the crease. Keeps it middle of the line. There's going to be some point deductions there. Good fluid transition past that second front clip and into the final one. Well done around that final front clip is Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic.
Test. Well, here we go, Jared, taking a look at Jonathan for time as he's.
And here we go, Kaufman
Went way off course. It was just a tiny little lift. That'll be a slight deduction. I think that's a case in Peter, and obviously it shows in the score.
83 and 83 for Peter Vincic. And Ryan, maybe talk about that. We're really just getting down to brass tacks as far as the drivers and getting into the groove, the yellow line, and you know, really kind of analyzing that, especially in that second outer zone.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that the drivers meeting really helps do is just kind of get into the granularity of each specific part of the course, what the judges are looking for, drivers asking clarification questions, and just trying to really understand how the judges are going to judge each section of the course. What are they looking for in initiation? What would they like to see on the bank? How deep do they need to go in outer zone 2? What kind of angle are they looking through inside clip 1 and 2? And you know, you spend a good half hour, 45 minutes going through all the details and the nuance to just really make sure that you have that confidence as a driver, knowing what you need to do, go out there and perform.
Yeah, the progression of the sport has just grown tremendously, and those finite details, that just goes to show you the precision driving that's not only being requested but then executed. We'll see if this gentleman can execute. Alec Honadell, FixYourFuel.com, Urban Air, Hoonigan, Nexen Tire, S14. Whoa, big angle. Can he salvage it? Yes, he does. He comes back. He goes off course. As you see him kicking off that cone, we'll see if that will be scored. Like I said, he went off course. Look at that. He's lifting that front right. He's taking some notes from that RTR drift team with those Mustangs. A very violent driving style from Alec Honadell.
Honadell having a strong performance at Road Atlanta, trying to back that up here in New Jersey. Let's see how he does here on run number 1. As you said, a big angle to that first inside clip. Let's see how it starts, though. You can see he initiates into the bank, trying to stay up there nice and high as he can. And then right here, a big angle through inside clip 1. Probably a little bit too much, lost some momentum, and then went off course there. And then as he tries to regain his approach into inside clip number 2, he's able to wrap it back around with that huge, massive angle. And then that touch and go right there, finishing up his run through that last inside clip.
And there's Honadell's score, a 74. So deducted a bit for some of the sloppiness, just needs to tighten that up. As I said, it was a very violent style. You saw him slamming down by comparison to some of the other vehicles, just really finessing from that big bank into the flat portion of the track. So Honadell gets his score. He is currently 13th. And sitting as far as points, we are now into our top 10 drivers. Honadell sitting 10th in points after 3 rounds. Next up, Chris the Force Forsberg, defending Formula Drift champion, NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Hankook tires. And notable thing here is this is the debut of this car in competition. Not the looks, but the engine. Twin turbo V6 as opposed to the V8 that took him to multiple championships. So here's Forsberg initiating. Not as high on the bank from previous drivers. You can see him ripping into the groove, standing on the throttle. You can hear the anti-lag, you know, you got to think about driving style, what he's been used to in previous years. He's had a bit of seat time, the car's been tested, nameless performance, putting the car together, and you know, for Forsberg, you got to think, and even talking to his spotter Scott, who's not far from here, he was talking about his whole kind of mentality and his driving style has changed tremendously.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that it definitely would need to be some adjustments with the new engine. Certainly, you're so used to that big V8 sound from Chris, and you can almost, if you're not even watching on course, you can know that it's Chris because
right.
Some of the cars have such a distinct sound overall. And Chris is maybe not getting the best start here. You can see he makes a couple little bobbles coming out of outer zone 2, and on his initiation on the bank, trying to get grounds on this vehicle here as he makes his first qualifying pass and certainly get a run in the books there, but knowing Chris will want to come back and back it up with a bigger score.
So that twin turbo V6 being debuted for the first time in competition and awaiting his score on his first run, currently sitting 9th in points in that NOS Energy Drink 370Z. And it's a 69 for Forsberg. So gets him a score, it'll get him in head-to-head battle. But currently 17th. We'll see if he throws some more at it in his second run. as we are seeing Alex Hilbrun, IMR, Field Suspension, Nitto Tires from Lima, Peru. You can see current top 5, Justin Pollock, Rintanen, Kaufman, Field, and Hamilton, our top 5 drivers. Those coveted top 4 spots, fast pass into the top 16. Because you get a bye run in 32. Alex Hilbrun, he has been one to watch. He's been on the box earlier this year, and he wants to get up there again. This supercharged V8 BMW, shredding some parts off the back end of his BMW. Well done by Hilbrun. Look at him turn that smoke machine back on. I mean, Ryan, you can see with the smoke signal, there's a deletion basically in that smoke line and the signal going to that touch and go. As we said, there are points of decel, but was that too much?
Let's take a look at this run here one more time. You can see Alex right there initiating. He's going to tap the wall right there, but he's able to stay in it, maintain his composure, get through this run. He's on that second hash mark on that first inside clip. Goes up a little bit high on that second outer zone. And then here, stays and fills that zone through that second inside clip rather. And then the touch and go here. Trying to draw a nice smooth line around. Comes in on the inside there and finishes up. So Alex almost going into the wall, but he's able to sacrifice it, or salvage it rather, and keep a pretty solid score on the table. We'll see what it comes with at the end of the day.
So Hilbrun awaiting his score. Remember, each driver 2 non-consecutive runs. If you're just tuning in, this is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. As Alex Hilbrun gets a score, an 87. 87 for Hilbrun puts him into 6th position. Next up, moving on down, currently sitting in 7th, Kristaps Blus from Latvia. HGK, Mass Motorsports, Motul, Wisefab, BMW E46. I think Kristaps is really going to go for it here. Both him and Alex Hilbrun seem to just have a very distinct style. Very fast, quick, and aggressive. So looking for some big things here from Kristaps. Let's see how Kristaps throws down. As our safety crew on track, making sure everything's good and handled. And it looks like we are clear to send. The course is clear. And Kristaps leaves start line. Let's see what Blus has got. And throws it in. Fast on the bank. Look at that. Ripping through. Into the groove he goes. Just standing on the throttle. You can see him lifting the front end of that car up. Touch and go, quickly going through the course. Well executed from Kristaps Blus.
Well, Kristaps Blus certainly gained a lot of fans last round. We saw some pretty incredible things happen. That was the talk of the town at Road Atlanta, and nearly getting a victory for the 2nd time in his career here in Formula Drift, starting off with a real aggressive run here in qualifying. You can see he's going to come off that second outer zone just a little bit early there, leaving some line points on the table, but that big angle through that second inside clip, through the touch and go, and then right on that last inside clip, you can see the smoke line so thick that he drives through his own smoke line coming through the finish line there from his initiation. So Kristaps Blus definitely known for throttle and making it be known here in New Jersey.
All right, Kristaps putting it down. How is he going to fare? Do we have a new leader? Is that enough? What do you say? Let us know. Hashtag FDNJ95. Boom goes the dynamite. The Latvian lover, Kristaps, throws it down. HGK, Mass Motul, Wisefab, E46, our new #1 qualifier. So just the Annie getting up. He says, I splash the pot. What say you, Von Gittin Jr.? Currently 6th in points, Von Gittin Jr., Monster Energy, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance, Mustang, RTR. From Joppa, Maryland. Revving it up, Pennzoil Lubricants through the veins. Here we go. You saw that kind of skip like a stone into the initiation, lifting that front right wheel. Even on the bank, seen some of those photos out there. Can he get it settled? Not a huge degree of angle, but definitely into it, filling that all that outer zone. Whomping on it across the finish and just barely tipping over that Black Magic Intense clipping point. Let's look at this again, Ryan. I mean, did my eyes kind of prove me wrong?
No, I don't think you were being deceived. You can see that bouncing right there, like you said, skipping like a stone right up into the bank here. Von staying nice and high, and then through this inside clip with good angle and momentum. And then Jared, as you said, he's going to look like he lifted a little bit right there up onto the big bank, but he's able to fill that zone completely on the second half of it. Hits that second hash mark on that second inside clip, finds his location on the touch and go, and then right through that final inside clip, just a glancing blow through the finish line.
A real exciting kind of violent run as Vaughn has been known for this. An 84, so leaving quite a few points on the track and puts him into 10th position. And Vaughn, we've seen grab that #1 spot. We'll see what kind of basically tweaks he's going to make to the vehicle to really get him out there on top. Next up, Michael Essa. Now at our top 5 current ranked drivers. Mike Essa, Achilles Tire, Essa Autosports, BMW M3. I know his daughter's watching at home and his lady. And here comes Essa. Ripping. Well done by Michael Essa. Fluid. Suspension techniques doing the work, absorbing it. As the Boost Brigade member comes through that second outer zone, transitions past the second front clip, touch and go. And he does that. He goes past that final front clip. Michael Essa, a lot of applause here for Michael Essa. Ryan, what do you think?
Really, the only thing I can really see is the touch and go doesn't go as deep in that last inside clip, but you can see that snappy initiation, quick rate to angle. He's right on throttle, very high on the bank, now down off the bank. Really good job right there on that first inside clip. Carries tons of momentum and big angle through this second outer zone here. You can see he stays on lock, wraps around all the way through the zone, and then on that inside clip. Now watch this little section right here. It doesn't get fully out to that touch and go. And this last little inside clip here is going to just be a slightly bit long, but outside of that, that was an incredible run and a good start by Michael Essa.
All right, so Michael Essa, again, currently sits in 5th coming into this round of competition in that Achilles Tire Essa Autosports BMW. Still left to drive, Ryan Turk, Frederick Osbo, Dean Kearney, and finally James Dean, our current points leader. And we'll go through the 28 drivers once again after that for their second qualifying run. As you can see, Michael Essa, an 86 puts him into 9th position. Ryan Turk, Advanced Auto Parts, Black Magic, Hankook Tires. What's the 411? Ryan Turk. Nameless Performance operated. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, and the Advanced Auto Parts on the hood of Ryan Turk. Valvoline running through the 2JZ engine. Here we go. Ryan Turk initiates. The 1552 wheels getting lifted off the ground. Big angle there. Works it down, first hash mark. Snappy into the groove, a quick lift. The degree of angle here, Ryan, is just massive from Ryan Turk. Out to the touch and go, the anti-lag firing off against 4th of July. And around that final Black Magic Intense, clipping points, some flames being thrown, just for a little exclamation point. I mean, the angle here just seemed intense compared to some of the other drivers.
Well, what we've seen with Turk this year is he's really making his campaign for a championship really look legitimate at this point. You know, he's just right outside the top 3, but has been very consistent. You can see his driving and the reliability of the vehicle have been strong all the way through, and he does a pretty tremendous job here on the bank and the first inside clip. Great job on that second outer zone, and then through this second inside clip here and through the touch and go. There's not a lot to criticize here. Ryan Turk, strong performance on run number 1.
And Ryan Turk with a 94. A 94 for Ryan Turk puts him in the number 2 position. Does not take down that of Christoph Blus. All right, now we're in the top 3 drivers. Frederick Osbo, Dean Kearney after this, and James Dean. So, a Norwegian and a couple Irishmen left to go for their first qualifying run, and we'll go back to the bottom of the order. Frederick Osbo entering the gauntlet in his Rockstar energy drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla IM on Nexen tires. 2015 Formula Drift champion. Debuting a new vehicle. Bless you, Ryan. Gesundheit. Like I said, the wind really blowing, clearing out a lot of the smoke. I know previous years we've seen all kinds of weather here over the years, from rain, almost violent storm. Right now, storms are brewing with the Norwegian Hammer, the hot hatchback, ripping with that 4-cylinder turbo. Nasty flick into that second outer zone. Do we have a new number 1 qualifier? Frederick Osbo gonna stand and deliver. Just the attitude of that car from Frederick Osbo.
Well, Papadakis Racing has not needed a season to build up this vehicle. They started off extremely strong, and you can see with the driving ability of Frederick Osbo, it manifests itself right out on the track. And look at this right here, that big initiation into the second outer zone. Lots of angle. He holds it all the way through. Nice snappy transition back. Maybe could have been a tiny bit closer to that inside clip, but this is great driving from Frederick Osbo on all aspects of the course, and an overall performance that was very impressive in a solid run number 1.
Do you think that's enough to take down Christoph Blus? Does that beat a 95? You're not going to make any claims. Okay, Ryan's going off the record right now. Just thought I'd throw it out there. I did like his transition, and no, it does not. A 92. A 92 for Frederick Osbo, but puts him in one of those top 4 spots. He is currently in 3rd. But still, 2 dynamic drivers left to go. Both Irishmen, and I know they have the Irish Army here cheering them on. Coming out in droves. Here we go. So Dean, Carnage Carney. The Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles radials, slithering like a snake. From the top rope, here comes Carnage. Currently sitting 2nd in points after 3 rounds. Dean, clear to send. Let's see if Carnage can wrangle in a good run. Oh, gets into the wall, taps the wall, comes out of drift, reinitiates. And Carnage just pushing a bit too hard. And it looks like the judges are still analyzing the run. Make some noise for Dean Carnage Carney, our first, not all the way victim, but you saw him get into the wall. Fortunately, he was able to get away from it.
Yeah, very close call there. That was one of those ones that narrowly avoided a lot of disaster and damage to the vehicle. As we take a look at the replay here, a lot of times when you get this action where that back hits, you get the front goes directly into the guardrail, and thankfully Dean was able to save it. He does continue the run, but obviously what the judges will be looking at overall is does that mistake there up near the guardrail constitute an incomplete? That'll be the big topic of discussion, and for each judge to decide individually. But overall, Dean will have another run to go, so whatever the outcome of this run number 1, he still has that second opportunity.
All right, so awaiting Dean Kearney's score. Looks like we are replaying this. The judges want to take a look at it once again. You can see Dean, pow. I mean, that could have been really ugly, but fortunately for him, he keeps it off the wall. Tries to salvage the rest of the run here. All right, so as you can see, our current points leader, James Dean.
What the judges are looking at here is the rooftop cam, just to get an overall feeling of what the car did once it made contact and once Dean continued drifting, whether or not that constitutes an incomplete. So there we go with that particular replay as we wait for James Dean and his first run into qualifying.
Okay, so again, Ryan, as you said, just analyze the house tomorrow, so make sure you stay hydrated and use sunscreen. It's going to be a hot one. Waiting for Dean's score. Looking at this replay once again. And there it is. So they finally analyzed and came to the conclusion that is an unchaseable lead run. So that would, talking with Lontaine, he's sitting next to us, and he says if you were chasing that, you could not chase that. So that's how they denoted it is an incomplete run. So Dean Kearney will have a 0, unfortunately, on his first run. So James Dean, our final driver in our first qualifying run. Wordhouse Falcon Tires S15, our current points leader from Ireland. The bank does not seem to be an issue for this Irish driver. Getting into the crease, seeing the attitude of the car, did it go up? Consistent there, a quick lift. You see that back right tire just ignite with fury. Dean, the machine, throws it down. Ryan, let's take a look at this again. Did he get vertical? Did he go too far and exceed the crease and get into the bank on that second under zone?
Well, I mean, at first glance, it looks like a very strong run, especially up top in that very high-risk area of the bank. I mean, he is as deep as you can get into that zone all the way around. Very tight on that first inside club. This is, I think, the section that you're mentioning here. There might be a tiny little lift there, but the attitude of the car doesn't really change. If anything, it's going to be a minor deduction, but you can see the fluidity in his driving all the way through. It's just a perfect example of the consistency that you want with the mix of aggression and getting that car lock to lock around specific parts of the course that the judges are looking for. James Dean, once again, continuing that momentum as he's our leader and looking to qualify high here with that really awesome run.
So a 95 is the score to beat, and those top 4 spots will get you a bye run in the 32, advancing you through the 16. Will James Dean have one of those spots? But all the drivers are going to have another shot at it, and notably, Ken Gucci and Dean Kearney, both of those drivers do not have a qualifying run, so it is do or die in their second run as we await James Dean and his Wordhouse Drift Team, Falcon Tires S15 score. All our respective media letting them change positions, their best optimal shooting position for the second qualifying run from all 28 drivers. I'm Jared Dienda, Ryan Sage, our co-host. We'll have Lorette Nickel here tomorrow for our pit reporting. She did a phenomenal job the previous 3 runs and last year. She's a great member of our team. I love her dearly. And of course, Ryan Lontaine speaking on behalf of himself, but as on behalf of the other judges as well, Brian Egger and Andy Yen. So thanks for joining us here. We are awaiting James Dean's score, and there it is, a 91. A 91 puts him into 5th position. So 91 for James Dean, our current points leader. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet, round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Jet Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the second run's a short commercial break, and we'll get right back into it and send it for the second qualifying run for our 28 drivers here at Wall Stadium Speedway.
This presentation of Formula Drift has been brought to you by Black Magic, Own Your Shine, Air Force, Aim High, Hankook Tire, Driving Emotion, Falcon Tire, NOS with Complex 6 for high performance energy.
Welcome back. We are into our second run of qualifying for all 28 drivers, and notably, Ken Gushi and Dean Carnage Carney, they need to get a score. It's do or die for those two gentlemen in order to see head-to-head competition tomorrow. So the top 4 spots right now are automatic bye runs, but it could be the top 6 drivers if Dean and Gushi do not get a score. So we are back to the bottom of the order. Robbie Nishida, can hear him lighten up his skyline. I should say his GTR. As the Bushido Blade, Jerry Yang Racing. Gosh, it seems like just yesterday Robbie Nishida hit the scene here in New Jersey in that Sil Camino, the S13 Team Orange vehicle, and just the way the cars have progressed, the way the attitude of the drivers, I'm talking about their driving style and the cars, just the progression of the overall sport. So there you see our top 5. Christoph Blush, Ryan Turk, Frederick Osbo, Justin Pollock, and James Dean are our top 5 drivers. Here we go, Robbie Nishida. Let's see what kind of score he can put down here. Quick little hesitation, but now back on the throttle, getting up to the wall. Nice job. The Achilles radials getting settled into the groove. You can hear him sputtering his way, slamming on it, ripping into that touch and go area. And now, how tight is he going to be? Really tight. Dancing right on that yellow line, making some noise. Nice job. Making boost, making noise.
Well, everybody's shooting for that 90 of Kristaps Blues, including Robbie Nishida here, rolling into initiation. Nice and high on the second half of the bank there. Great job scraping that bumper. Comes off a little bit weird to try to get as much angle as he can on that first inside clip. Back on the throttle here on that second outer zone. And here we go, the transition into that second inside clip. Nice and tight there. Nice smooth motion into that touch and go. And then wrapping back around that final inside clip is Robbie Nishida.
And a 76, stands to be the better of the two. So a 73 on his first run, a 76 on his second. So we will be seeing him in head-to-head battles tomorrow. That is Robbie Bushido Blade Nishida. All right, so Taylor Hull, oh no, sorry, I take that back. Taylor Hull was another driver that does have a 0 on his first run. So this is do or die. Taylor Hull of Firm Consulting, Asphalt Anarchy from Sonoya, Georgia, on Achilles radial tires. All right, here we go, Taylor Hull. So he spun out, approaching that second outer zone. Big feint initiation here from Hull. Keeps it middle of the road. This is what he won last time. He came unbound. Doesn't get all the way to the outside zone. Oh, and Hull shuts her down. Oh. And that is a lot of smoke still coming off. I know they're messing with the transmission. It could just be residual smoke in the cabin. But no, I'm seeing some smoke come from when I showed up this morning. I know they said, man, we're getting really good at pulling out this trans out of this car. And we'll see what happened here for Taylor Hull. And quickly, the Wall Township Speedway fire makes it out onto course.
Well, Jared, big missed opportunity here for Taylor Hull. He was just looking to get a score in the books here. Didn't start off the greatest, but really if he could manage the run, he'd find himself in the top 32. But right here, the car just shuts down, and he's forced to stop drifting, and now he's out inspecting the vehicle on course. And he will be out of competition with those 2 incomplete runs.
All right, so Taylor Hull, we'll see if he needs assistance getting towed off here. But unfortunately, that will be double zeros for the Georgia driver, and we will unfortunately not be seeing him in competition. So quite a bummer for him. I know he'll still have a smile on his face, but just very defeated here. And man, bummer for Hull. But when we come back, we'll continue with our second qualifying run here at round 4 of the Blackmagic Formula J Approach presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Welcome back. As you could see on the course here, if we could get a different angle than just the bank, we are still cleaning up the course. Unfortunately, there you go. So you can see all hands on deck. Our Wall Stadium Speedway staff doing what they got to do, and that's basically clean up the track. When Taylor Hull exploded on track, you saw a lot of smoke, and I assume, dropped some oil and a lot of fluid. So they are cleaning it up, and we'll get back to the action. So thank you for your patience. But we are slowly crawling here into our second qualifying run for all the drivers. Local time here, just about 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. As, again, we will continue as soon as we clear up the track. But we'll want to make sure that you have already picked up. If you haven't, pick up your Formula Drift Takata wallet, the signature green harnesses being used by all the drivers there, and they're even signed by them. Frederick Osbo, Matt Field, Chris Forsberg, Ken Gucci, Mad Mike Odette, and Ryan Turk. Get yours at TakataRacing.com. So these signature green Takata harnesses and Formula Drift collab wallets. Also, if you haven't downloaded the Formula Drift app, do that, because look at all these features it has. Live scoring, alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, breaking news alerts, get notifications, access to the free live stream, ability to buy tickets if you want to join us in person, the new FD Fan Rewards program. Speaking of the Fan Rewards program, if you haven't yet used code FD1, you'll score 50 points. So go and download the app. If you haven't used it, FD1, you'll get 50 points. Exclusive games and contests, special video features available now in the Apple or Google store. So download it now, and again, utilize the app. Also, want to give back to you in a couple different ways. You could win a set of wheels, drifts, hardcore wheels for the street, as run by Odi Bakshis. Well, how? Again, you can win a set of drifts wheels by tagging a photo of you watching this weekend's event, hashtag FDDRIFZ17, enter to win a free set of drifts wheels. Again, hashtag FDDRIFZ17 or hashtag UK as ATDwheels.com, the official sponsor, or an official sponsor of Formula Drift. All right, so as you can see, we are cleaning up the track. We'll take a short break. Well, let's just talk about this, Ryan. So, again, some fantastic moments here at Wall just over the years. As you said, Chelsea Denofa, Tyler McCory, their big incident here, but also the rain. Do you remember the rain, that came in, and also the storms? I mean, just the weather has played a big role here over the years at Wall Stadium. Yeah,
I can remember one year, actually, we had pretty good conditions for the majority of the day. We got to qualifying, we got to the driver's meeting, and a little gust came in. That wasn't a little gust, it was a big one, but it was a little cell, actually, that came in, ripped all the tents, flew them into the middle of the paddock, and we spent the entire night trying to clean everything up and fix dented vehicles and replacing TVs and Xboxes and all kinds of stuff back in the days when we were doing a lot of gaming back then. So that was definitely a very interesting moment for sure.
It even threw up the big water barrels. I remember it throwing up the water barrels that tie down even the overhangs on the haulers. But that was pretty amazing. And then back in the day, Eric O'Sullivan, he used to drift out here and saw his Subaru go through the water. That was pretty insane when it went through the center course. And yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting backdrop for the Formula Drift crowd. And like you said, the judging stand used to be in the middle, so you'd have to put your head on a swivel versus here, a 360-degree swivel versus here you're looking left to right.
This was actually the first track that we ever saw a double pass too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Casper Canule and Ken Gucci, when we used to run the figure eight and we had the course in the middle, there was a pass on the what is now the second outer zone, and then through the middle section here. First time ever, hasn't happened since. Yeah.
No, and did the judges specify as passing allowed at any point on this course here?
I don't. Well, anywhere on an inside clip is our general rule. But back then, the passing rules were a little bit different. I don't really actually remember exactly what they were, but I believe both guys kind of received an equal score, and it came down.
New Jersey 1 to 38714. So pull out your phone. You could win. Retail value of $379, a Blackview dash camera. So again, text BVNJ1 to 38714 for a chance to win a free Blackview dash camera. Must be 18 or over to enter. Retail value $379. So pull out your phone. You have some moments. Again, BVNJ1 to 38714. And then finally, also win a set of centerline wheels as run by Chelsea DeNofa. Win a set of wheels, tag a photo of you watching this weekend's event, and hashtag FD Centerline 17. Again, hashtag FD Centerline, CENTERLINE 17, to win a free set of centerline muscle car wheels as run by Chelsea DeNofa on his BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. All right, so quick little cleanup here, put a bow on it, and we'll be ready to continue with some more Formula Drift qualifying action when we return here at Wall Stadium Speedway. Welcome back. As you can see, there's some fans sticking around here watching some qualifying. Hashtag FDNJ. The track is clear, and we are ready to advance on with some more qualifying. We are only into our currently sitting 20. So, Ryan, also what happens here with Taylor Hull not being able to put a score on the board with 2 zeros, that means our top 5 qualifying drivers will have a bye run. So, very unfortunate circumstance for Taylor Hull, but that opens up another spot for a bye run in top 32. Here comes Pat Gooden. He does have a score on the board. And here comes Gooden. Spray 9, Hankook Tires, Huddy Racing, Pennzoil. Flew it through that front clip. Standing on the throttle. Look at that, nice transition. Correction there from Gooden. Just to work and wrap it around that final front clip, and we are back on and kicking.
So Pat Gooden, you know, shooting for that 95. You can see he's looking like he's doing a better job this second time around. Like you said, Jared, he had a little bit of a struggle there on that last inside clip, the transition from the touch and go. But overall, decent performance here. He did a great job on that second outer zone and was able to fill that touch and go. Just a slight little hiccup there as he kind of brought a little bit angle out of the car. But overall, a decent run for him. Trying to better his score, number 1.
So Pat Gooden awaiting his score. Next up, Dan Burkett. He had a great score on his first run. I'm sure he's going to just push a little bit harder on the second run, as we are waiting for Gooden's score. And there it is, an 82. An 82 on his second run proves to be better than his first, a 73, so it just goes to show you. Just making it even more dynamic. Dan Burkett, Rad Industries, Nexen Tire, Toyota Supra. And here comes Burkett. And we have a clear track. Burkett. And here he comes. Burkett at one point was in the top 3. And now put it down, tapping the wall. Tapping the wall, getting personal as Burkett goes past that front clip. Into the groove, nice job. And Nexen Tires, he had an 81 on his first score. Staying consistent all the way through and around that final. You can see him about that second hash mark, gaining some applause. Great to see, just such an iconic car, the Toyota Supra, and a very clean car at that. So an 81, Ryan, on his first. Does that run have what it takes to beat an 81 or even get in the 90s?
Well, certainly saw some really high points there, and big ups to him for keeping the car out of the wall there. You can see he's going to make that little tap right there, but he stays in it. He's consistently deep throughout that zone. Nice and smooth through that first inside clip with good angle, good momentum, and I love this right here as he comes out of this second outer zone. He's got good angle in the car. This transition right here, just fluid and smooth, right to angle, and then into the touch and go here. So looks to be like an improvement to me, checking a lot of the boxes there, in a great second half performance here by Dan Burkett.
So Rad Dan, as he's known, an 86. So just getting a little bit better than his first run of 81, puts him into the 13th position. So Dan Burkett with an 86 on his second runless performance. BN Sports, Nexen Tires, Toyota GT86. Cameron Moore, the Butcher. Let's see what we got here from Cameron Moore. And here comes Moore. You can see our current leaderboard here. Moore with a 74 on his first run, shimming his way across the bank, slamming down. A big lift there from Moore. Tries to keep it consistent, and he's doing just that. You can hear him. Quick little e-brake yank past that second front clip and brings it around the final. So a 74 on his first score.
So Cameron Moore, a 74, looking to better that, as you said, Jared. Starts off here, trying to reach up as high as he can on that bank. Great smoke line here as he comes into that first inside clip. Now into the second outer zone. Good angle in the car here. You can see smooth, consistent throttle control. Big angles. He transitions into that second inside clip. Now wrapping back around that final inside clip as he hits that touch and go. And drawing that line out as he stays nice and tight on that final and last inside clip.
So Cameron Moore betters his first score with a 76. A 76 puts him into 20th position. So a 76 on his second score proves to be better than the first, as Jeff Jones in the chute warms up his hand-cooked tires as he hits the start line. Let's see what Jones has got on his second run. And Jones leaves the start. 74 as well on his first run. Throwing it in, you see a bit of fiberglass shooting off his vehicle. Brings it into the crease. Doesn't get all the way out there, but flying through the course. Really hammering down Jeff Jones. Gets into the touch and go in that final clip. Seems maybe, you know, his loud pipe speaks volumes here as a 74 on his first score, Sage.
So Jones right there, something flying off the car on initiation. Nice and high on the first half of the bank. Comes down just a little bit there. He's on that third hash mark on that first inside clip. Now into the transition there to outside zone 2. Back on the throttle. Nice and deep into that zone. And then wrapping into that second inside clip and the touch and go. A little bit of modulation there of the front wheels, but overall a good performance for Jeff Jones on run number 2.
A 74 on his first score and an 82 on his second. A 17 puts him into 17th, so an 82 for Jones on his second run. Juha Rintanen, he looks really strong, very fluid. If you can recall his first run, looks like the car is really figured its way out. And if I can recall, I think he debuted this car here last year. He had an accident here a while ago. I think it was in his gold S14 actually. But Juha Rintanen, you can see, has an 88 just outside. I think he's going to go for it. He wants to get one of those top 5 spots right now. Firing it up is Juha. Snappy in that crossover. Into the touch and go. You see a bit of hiccup. And across the finish line, Juha Rintanen from Finland. Nexen Tires, STR wheels.
What's really noticeable is just how quickly out of the gate he gets and how fast he comes down that front straight into initiation. Doesn't really get that quick rate to angle or nice and high on the bank at the beginning, but is able to fill the majority of the bank halfway through. Then through that first inside clip, good job there. Filling that second outer zone, trying to get those back wheels as close as he can to that crease. And then right there, nice and tight, good transition on that inside clip. Hitting that touch and go a little bit tight here as he tries for a different line through the finish line.
Different line through the finish line, says Ryan Sage. An 86 on his second run does not better his first score of an 88. So Juha Rintanen will hold on to that 6th qualifying spot, but we still have quite a few drivers left to go on their second run. Juha Rintanen sitting 21st coming into this round. So this is another driver. We talked about Taylor Hull, Ken Gucci, Dean Kearney. They had zeros on their first run. We saw the unfortunate thing that happened to Taylor Hull. Right now, it is do or die for the OG, the original Gucci, Ken Gucci, Gretti Racing, Boost Brigade, Nexen Tires, Toyota Racing, GT86. You see him lock him up, throw it into the bank. A lot of pressure right now on Ken Gucci. The engine gremlins showing up once again, talking to his spotter, Ben Schwartz. Oh, you see some hesitation there. That will be a deduction, but not a full-on incomplete run. And now across the finish line. So, fortunately for him, it looks like he will get a score. Ryan, I saw you shake your head there on that second zone, and you and I and all the fans, we all saw it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a stomach drop there, not knowing whether or not he was going to make it through that, but it was just a quick hiccup there. You don't know what it's going to lead to, but Ken starts off pretty well here, nice and high on the bank. He comes down pretty fluid from that transition. You can see right there, he just clips that inside clip, knocking that bumper loose, and then right there you can see that little hiccup there, and he's able to stay in it, and he'll get a score on this run. He'll be into the top 32. Now, Jared, it's just a matter of where is he going to fit into the positioning.
All right, as the fans await Ken Gushi, a 71 for Gushi, puts him into 24th. So it does get him a score. He can breathe a heavy sigh there. That was a close one for Gushi. So again, our top 5 drivers have bye runs, and it could be the top 6 if Dean Carnage Carney does not get a score. So next up, JTP, Justin Pollock, had a very strong run 1 in qualifying. And as you can see, he has one of those top 4 spots. You know, Ryan, does he push it here? What do you think? I mean, he's already got a 91.
You push it.
You push it? Go for it? All right, well, you want to lock it in. Here goes JTP, Justin Pollock. He has a 91 on his first run, and he's doing just that. Ryan looked into his crystal ball, and it said that Justin Pollock was going to push it. The all-carbon fiber-bodied Ford Mustang of JTP, really going for it. Standing on throttle, look at that, getting on a touch and go. Not lifting. Justin Pollock. Wow. Great thing about that run, hammered down the whole time.
Well, JTP certainly pushing the limits here. Initiates quickly into the bank, nice and high, big smoke line there. You can hear the throttle just unbelievable as he hits that first inside clip. Now watch this angle right here as he enters outer zone number 2. And he's able to stay in that zone, maintain that line, has great consistency through there, nice and tight on that inside clip. Great movement back around, another snappy transition as he gets through that touch and go and then through the finish line, and we are just swimming in smoke now as JTP throttles all the way through. He's trying to better that 91. He was leading the pack for a while. And there you go.
A 95. So, Ryan, you looked into your crystal ball, and I said, you know, is he going to push it? And you said yes, and he did just that. So, JTP with a 95 puts him into second. What do you got?
Well, I think it puts him into second until we find out what Blues' score is going to be, right?
I believe, well, yeah, true. It puts him into second, awaiting Kristaps because he has a 95 as well. So, we'll see. We'll see how it transpires. So right now, so yeah, you can see they both have a 95. So unofficially a second. And here comes Chelsea Denofa. Chelsea looked crazy out there on his first run. And Denofa with an 82 on his first run. An 82. Here comes Denofa. Look at that front right wheel completely lifted, coming to a halt. Whoa, shreds that back bumper. That bumper skid, as you can see, he hits the cone. That's a telltale sign. Look at that, stopping that right front wheel. Transitions into that touch and go. Just the attitude of these Ford Mustangs back to back. And it's interesting seeing the JTP setup and then the RTR Mustang setup of Chelsea and Vaughn. Very different attitudes.
Well, 2 phenomenal runs back to back here as we take a look at Denofa. He got really high in the bank. He had to make a little slight adjustment. It was barely noticeable, so it'll just be a slight deduction, but he threw that first inside clip. Great job there. Big smoke. You can see holding that angle, that right front wheel, not even spinning as he lifts the front part of the vehicle. Snappy transition, just taps that inside clip there. Great job by Denofa on his run number 2, and certainly shooting for that number 1 spot.
And again, at minimum, and a 96. Boom! Chelsea Denofa, a 96 from Denofa. Say howdy, get rowdy. He is our current and unofficial qualifying leader right now with the high score of 96. So a great run from him. Congratulations to Denofa, Nitto Tires, BC Racing, Ford Performance, Mustang, RTR. Again, listening to his driftcast yesterday, just getting caught up. He said he's going to see a podium sooner or later, and man, the way he's driving right now, it's looking like it could be here in New Jersey. We'll see. Next up, Little Tex, Nate Hamilton. He had a great run one. I believe it was about an 8. I think it was an 87 is what he had. And Nate Hamilton and Juku Racing, BC Racing Coilovers, Hankook Tires. And yeah, Hamilton with an 87, currently in 10th. And our track crew getting a couple different pieces off of the track when Denofa got that back end into the wall. And it looks like we should be clear. Looks like a little bash bar there from Denofa. Okay, so Hamilton comes down into Wall Stadium for his second qualifying run at 87 on his first run. Remember, hashtag FDNJ, Nate Hamilton, 144. I know Nate Hamilton wants to put it down for his great friend. He just lost this last week for Ducky, so now he wants to put it down for JL and now Ducky. Transition into that front clip. Into the crease he goes. Nice job. As past the second front clip. Big angle there. Touch and go, and then bring it on home. Hamilton looking really, really poised by comparison to some other rounds of competition. Seems that Little Tex is really putting it together about that second hash mark, but man, these guys are really turning it up.
Yeah, just a little hiccup on initiation there. You can see he doesn't really snap into it. He kind of rolls into it, and that's going to cost him a little bit there, but the remainder of the run is pretty decent here. You can see he's nice and tight on that inside clip, kind of maintains pretty good momentum through there with decent angle. He's got a good throttle here as he comes through that second outer zone. A little bit long right there on that second inside clip, but good smooth transition here, staying on the throttle and drawing a nice line through the finish as he just takes that wider line and goes a little bit long on that last inside clip.
All right, so as again, shout outs to Ducky and his family, and sorry for their loss as they lost a friend earlier this week, as Nate Hamilton gets an 81 on his second run. The first run will stand to be the better of the two, an 87 on his first run. Again, rest in peace, Ducky. And coming in to the gauntlet, Jonathan Castro, Jardu Metal Dum, Nexon Tires, Papadakis Racing, Toyota Racing GT86. Castro 16th in points coming to this round. And we are clear to send. So getting our top 16 drivers as it stands. And here comes Castro. Jonathan Castro. Very fast, quick approach. Into the wall. Nice job by Castro. Tapping the wall there at the end. Ended up biting him, straightening out Castro, and now into that second outer zone. Now turns it up. So there'll be a point deduction for his correction coming off of the bank. I don't foresee that being an incomplete run for Castro. That's just a byproduct of pushing hard.
Yeah, good aggressive driving here by Jonathan Castro, but as you said, just bit off a little bit more than he needed to on the bank here. You can see just getting into the wall right there and causes him to come off the bank a little bit wonky. He gets back in it. You can see the bumper flying all over the place. So like you said, Jared, we'll have a little bit of a deduction. Could have been deeper into the second outer zone. And then back around here to that inside clip. He finishes up pretty strong here. You can see that smooth line, but a little bit too tight as he hits that last inside clip through the finish line.
Oh, wow. So I was talking about I don't foresee that being a incomplete run, but yes, so we are getting word. So I spoke too soon, and that will be an incomplete run. That is, so unfortunately, a 0 for Jonathan Castro on his second run. Fortunately for him, he does have a score on his first run, but that is a 0 for Castro. Coming down, I could see him warming up his tires, the beast from the Bay. This is Matt Field, 777. Vaptasia, Falcon tires, Black Tracks, Arc Performance, Nissan 240SX. Still warming him up. I can hear and see him over in the burnout box. And there you go, off in the distance. You can see Field, burnout box just before the chute, and now he makes his way down the run-up. And now into the start line. Sage, we were talking about in the driver's meet, there will not be a start chicane because of the angle of the bank that you see. The cars just drop down, and the run-up is you know, just enough distance and tight enough where there's no start chicane that's going to be enacted this round of competition. So Matt Field, here we go. Throws it in. Whoa, getting up in the wall. And Field. And the wall claims its first victim here. He does have a score on his first run, but unfortunately for Matt Field, an 87 on his first run will have to be enough, and it will, to get him into tomorrow. But now the work begins. Him and his team having to get his car back up to snuff. So that will be a 0 for Field, but an 87. Currently in 10th qualifying position. We got a lot of shrapnel, a lot of teal, blue, and neon up there on that bank. Let's take a look at this again here, Ryan.
Well, Jared, this is a classic example of what happens on the bank if you get sucked up there. You hit that rear, and the front really has nowhere to go. We saw a little bit with Dean Carney. He was able to pull out of it, but Matt was carrying a ton of momentum there, and that is just a classic wall tap, literally and figuratively. So, unfortunately for Matt, he will have that incomplete on run number 2, but he does have that nice score to rely on, and he'll be okay for tomorrow's competition. All
right, so as far as okay, because he will be in it, but how the car does and how it performs is to be TBD, to be decided. So when we come back, we'll clean up Matt Field's body parts, talking about fiberglass body parts, and when we come back, we'll continue with the second run of the remaining drivers here at the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. This is round 4 of the Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras.
When I was a kid.
Welcome back as Matt Field scatters about his vehicle on the wall. He does get a score nonetheless. Also, just paging Luis Castro Aguilar. I have your credit card. So, Luis Castro Aguilar, show me your driver's license, and I have your debit card. So, head on up here to the tower. So, as we clear off field, we got a clear course, and Matt Kaufman, he is up next. So, let's see what Kaufman can do here on his second run. 959 on Nexen Tires. Let's see what we got here for Matt Kaufman. As Matt Kaufman, again, 959. And looks like we are clear to send. Are we good? And here we go. This Ford V8 powered S13 of Matt Kaufman from Medford, Oregon. Yeah, Kaufman getting into the wall. Nice job by Matty O. Got that black chrome nose dialed in on that front clip. Minimal corrections from those front wheels, transitioning back. You can hear just a quick blip out of that touch and go area on the first hash mark. And Matt Kaufman puts it down. Make some noise for Matt Kaufman, 959.
Well, Jared, as you know, he's already got a pretty solid score at an 88, looking to better that here on run number 2. He starts off with a very fluid transition, or initiation rather, into that first big bank. Nice and high there. Good movement coming down. Really tight on that first inside clip. Nice smooth movement there into that second outer zone. You can see just a little bit of adjustment there with the wheels, but big angle coming out of that second outer zone into that first inside clip right on that number 1 hash mark. Just great fluidity overall here for Matt Kaufman on run number 2. And pretty close to perfect on that last inside clip as he's just right on that second hash mark. So looking to improve on an 88 is Matt Kaufman, and he does.
And a 93 for Matt Kaufman puts him into 5th qualifying position. So Matt Kaufman, one of the highest scores we've seen from this young man, and he is putting it down as Matt Kaufman. Well played. Well played. How does it feel having a 93? I'm going to smoke this place out, and you will feel the wrath of Matt Kaufman. As Dai Yoshihara, if I can recall, trying to remember his first run score here. As you can see, the Hankook qualifying leaderboard. Turn 14 distribution, BRZ. Yoshihara leaves the start line. What do we got, Dai? Yoshihara with an 85 on his first run. A lot of these guys really stepping up on their second run. Like a heat-seeking missile. Nice job by Dai Yoshihara. Past the second front flip into the top. Oh, you see a little bit of attitude. Go vertical of the vehicle. So that'll be a deduction, but just blazing a trail through the course.
So some pretty high scores overall here today. Seems like that is the standard, mid-80s and above. Barely getting you into 15th place. So Dai really going to have to step it up here as he comes into initiation. Nice and high on the bank there. Holding great angles. He comes down into that first inside clip. Nice fluid movement there into that second outer zone. Trying to stay as deep as he possibly can. Leaving the zone at the right time and hitting that second inside clip very well. But then right there, Jared, just a slight lift, a little bit of adjustment in the attitude of the vehicle. And then finally hitting that last inside clip nice and tight. So Daijiro Yoshihara looking to better an 85 here on run number 2.
And he does not. An 81 on his second run. Keeps him in 15th position with an 85. So the turn 14 distribution Falcon Tires BRZ driver Dai Yoshihara has an 85 out of the best 2. So next up was to be Odi Bakshis. He is currently sitting 12th coming into this round in points, and he is foregoing his second run. Feeling confident enough. He's got a score on the board. He'll be in head-to-head. Save the car, and he will see battle tomorrow on game day. Hashtag FDNJ. Let everybody know you're here, and you're going to be here tomorrow. It's Peter Vincic, the Word House, Falcon Tire, Drift Team Sylvia. Warming up his Falcon tires, off in the distance, in the burnout box. With that, Peter will be he's again 11th in points. So 10 more drivers left after Peter Vincic. And right now, the top 5 spots. So, okay, so Peter Vincic, unfortunately, might have something broken on his car in the burnout box. I mean, phonetically, his name is he's Polish, so it looks like Wycheck, but it's pronounced Vincic. So it looks like Peter, unfortunately, broke something, so he will be pulled out of the burnout box, and he will have to rest on his first qualifying run score. And next up will be Alec Honadell. Alec Honadell in the Urban Air Hoonigan Nexen Tire S14 from Destin, Florida. Supercharged V8. And Alec should be pulling to the burnout box momentarily. Remember, pick up your Formula Drift Takata wallet signed by many of the drivers: Osbo, Field, Forsberg, Gucci, Mad Mike, and Turk. Get yours at TakataRacing.com. And I even saw that Takuma Sato, who won the Indy 500, I saw he had green harnesses. He runs Takata harnesses in his car, and it just a testament to, and again, congratulations, first Japanese driver ever to win Indy 500. It's pretty cool. Keeping it safe, keeping it real in the field. You know what I'm feeling? How you doing, Ryan? Staying out of the cold? Yeah, staying out of the heat. Yeah, man. Sage, after this, we're moving on to Canada. Excited about Canada?
Absolutely. I love Canada. Canada is the Irwindale of the East, I think.
The Irwindale of the North. The White Walkers are coming.
Yep.
And they're doing battle and throwing some fruit as it's a food fight out on the track and in the judges' booth. Yes. Pungent, stings the nostrils. Talking about Urban Air, Alec Honadell. Oh, Ryan Sage. Soggy Sage, here we go. Alec Honadell ripping into the outside zone on the bank. Nexen tires are getting lit, fam. Shreds that back bumper. Would it be a Honadell run if he didn't lose some parts? Alec Honadell brings it into that final front clip, and boom. Ripping through the course. Like I said, it wouldn't be a Honadell run if he didn't lose one bumper, either front and or back.
Well, I really love the way that Alec has really brought these really snappy transitions into the game here. You can see he's a little bit lower on a tighter line on the bank, but as he comes off the bank and hits that first inside clip, he's got a nice fluid transition into outer zone 2, and then right here, this big snap back, huge angle coming out of the zone, boom, right there into inside clip number 2, and then another one right there into the touch and go, and then the final wrap around to that last inside clip by Alec Honadell. Solid run there, just a little bit of a mistake on the bank, could have done better, could have been a little bit higher, but overall, solid run for him and an improvement.
And Honadell with an 88 on his second run puts him into 9th. Everybody loves their own brand. As Alec Honadell, Urban Air. That was your nickname in high school, right? Urban Air. As Honadell gets an 88, and now we are into the top 10 drivers. Next up, Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink. 370Z on hand-cooked tires. The twin-turbo V6 setup being debuted here in New Jersey as you said, Ryan, a signature exhaust note out of that VK56 that he's been running for numerous years that took him to multiple championships, and debuting this twin-turbo V6 setup. See, Forsberg can throw down a stronger run here on his second run. Forsberg with a 69. It's currently in 25th position. So 69 for Forsberg. Let's see if he can better that. Go for one of the top coveted 5 spots. That could get expanded to 6. Running through the gears, initiating. Popping, getting high on the wall. Oh, buddy. And shutting her down. Thing sounded like a fighter jet coming off that wall, but unfortunately for Forsberg, let's look at this again here, Ryan, as just got into the wall, and I just think lost that and just fell down. So 69 for Forsberg on his first run. So we will see him tomorrow in head-to-head, and that's, you can't win in qualifying, you got to win in the head-to-heads.
Well, there's the initiation. You can see he's already a little bit lower on the bank, but then he moves himself up, and he's going to have big angle in the car, and then right there he can't hold the angle, has to shut it down, and he'll have to stick with that 69 for run number 1.
So Forsberg with that 69, and that will have to be the better of the 2 runs. Alex Hilbrun coming down flying. So Hilbrun, IMR, Inca Madness Racing, RTS, Nitto Tires. He calls us the Monster BMW. No M-Claw on the side of this thing, but he calls it the Monster BMW, the V8 supercharged BMW. Hilbrun leaves the start line and throws it in. Nice job by Hilbrun. He was one of those drivers. We saw him on the box earlier this year. He wants to get back up there. Flicks it into that second outer zone. Into the crease. Calm, cool, collected. A lot of torque there on deck. You can see the car just gripping up, lofting that front end. Well executed around that final clip. Ryan Sage.
Well, Hilbrun looks like he knew he was maybe going to get into the wall here, and you can hear him get off throttle after he initiates. He's starting to head towards the bank, up on the wall, gets off so to avoid any major contact there. You can see one of the drivers that's kind of running a little bit lower RPM here, a little bit different gearing than it seems like some of the other drivers. Not as high revs as he makes his way through the course here. Gets that inside clip, just touches it a little bit of wheel lift there up onto the bank, but overall a pretty decent run for Alex Hilbrun. Currently sitting in 8th place, trying to go for that championship, and that's run number 2, and he is done for the day.
An 84 does not better his 87 on his first run, so currently in 10th qualifying position. So Kristaps Blush, he is currently sitting in 2nd unofficially. Denofa with that 96, Blush 95, Pollock 95, Turk 94, Kaufman 93. Those top 5 drivers will have bye runs. It might be expanded to 6 if Dean Kearney cannot put down a qualifying run. Kristaps Blush, HGK, Achilles Radial, Wisefab, Motul, tapping the wall, staying in it, pin it to win it. Here comes Blush. And shutting her down. Unfortunately, just too much for Blush. Shuts it down. Keeps it off the wall, saves the car. He saw what happened to Field, so plays it safe.
Yeah, I think if we take a closer look here, once we watch the replay, he had that 95, so he's in great position here. Looks like the left rear is going to pop after he makes contact with the wall. Let's take a look at it and see if we can get a better look. It's going to be probably on the second tap, right about there. Let's see, right there's the first one. Here's the second one, right there. And then you can see that the wheel is exposed. Yeah, it almost pops off. The wheel was exposed and the tire was about to pop off there, so he knew he basically was going to potentially lose that wheel if he were to continue on. So he will be out of competition for the day, but he's got that 95 on run number 1. That currently puts him in 3rd place. So great day for him, and he'll move on into tomorrow's top 32 competition.
So bit of a scenario down there. We have our racetrack and our officials. You saw Christoph Blush get into the wall and looked like he had a piece stuck into the Samco wall. All right, so the track is clear. Vaughn Gittin Jr. Vaughn Gittin Jr. So the question, Ryan, for me is Denofa currently sits in the lead with a 96. Vaughn wants to get up in the mix and just make sure and ensure, as he has an 84. He's currently in 17th. Not one of those top 5 spots, but here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. The Mustangs are able, but is he willing to throw it down here? Vaughn Gittin Jr. up into the wall. Look at that. Nice shot by Gittin. He is getting it right now. Past that first front clip into the groove goes Gittin. Consistent Nitto tire cloud off the back end of that Monster Energy Ford Mustang. You could hear a bit of breakup there in the throttle. But an exciting run to watch there by the former Formula Jip champ.
Well, no doubt he's shooting for his teammate here. Chelsea Denofa sitting on that 96, and Vaughn just threading the needle here nice and high on the bank. It's pretty much as deep as you can go without going into it. Super tight on that first inside clip. Positions himself just perfectly here for this second outer zone. Great angle here. Leaves the zone perfectly. Nice job on that second inside clip. And then right there, just a tiny hiccup, but it doesn't really affect him too much. And then right there you can see, again, finishing up strong through that last inside clip. So checking all the boxes is Vaughn Gittin Jr. Let's see where that puts him, because that's a great run.
And a 90 for Vaughn Gittin Jr. An 84 on his first run, so he does not get into those top spots, but he does better it. So a little bit of bragging rights for Chelsea Denofa to his teammate and team owner, Vaughn Gittin Jr. As now Michael Essa is next on deck, and now he enters the batter's box. And Michael Essa currently 5th in points. So that means, including Essa, 5 more drivers left to qualify on their second qualifying run. All right, Essa, Achilles Radial, Essa Autosports, BMW. Feint initiation into the wall. Good composure. You see that left foot brake, that front brake light illuminating. Showing you he is standing on it, but just modulates it with that left foot brake. And dances his way in and out of that second rear clipping zone. Past the second front clip, into the touch and go. Keeps it consistent. You see a small break in that smoke line. Ryan, what is S's first score? Did you happen to see?
No, I didn't, but let's take a look at the run here overall. He's shooting for that 96. It's a big marker to take down of Chelsea DeNofa, but Michael Essa ever so aggressive there on the bank, now coming down through that first inside clip, slotting himself up right into the crease of that second outer zone. Great angle here as he hits that second inside clip, just on that inside of that second hash mark, through the touch and go. Good positioning here as he comes around that last inside clip, very tight and with authority all the way through. Nice job by Michael Essa.
And a 92 proves to better it, and look at that, he is in 7th, just outside, so no chance of a bye run for him. As I said, Dean Kearney, who currently sits in 2nd, he is the final driver that has a 0 on his first run. So right now, the top 5 drivers have a bye into the top 16. If Dean fails to put a score on the board, that would mean the top 6 drivers would have a bye run into the top 16. So right now, Michael Essa sitting in 7th as Ryan Turk has one of those top 5 spots. Can he throw it down even bigger, better, badder, and nastier? He wants to solidify his position in that Advanced Auto Parts, Nameless Performance, Black Magic Intense, Hankook Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86. I can see Turk currently in 4th with a 94. He's also sitting 4th in points for the championship. And he's number 411, firing off that anti-lag. Again, another left foot brake from Turk. Gets more personal with that wall. We really liked how Ryan Turk stayed on the throttle consistently on his first run. Big angle there from Turk. Past the second front clip, into the touch and go. Cannons booming past that final front clip. Ryan, is that enough to better a 94, which he's currently sitting in 4th?
Well, with each passing driver, that 96 seems to be out of range for some of these guys. Ryan Turk trying his best to knock down Chelsea DeNofa at a 96. Great job on the bank there. You can see huge smoke line by Ryan Turk. A lot there, and he does better his first score.
A 95 on his second puts him into unofficially 2nd position right now. A very comfortable position for Ryan Turk, who's 5th in the championship. He's looking like one of the guys to beat, one to watch out here in New Jersey. As now we are into our top 3 drivers currently in the standings. Former Formula Drift champion, 2015 champion in the Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla IM on Nexen Tires. Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, pulls up in the hot hatchback. More doors, more smiles, more miles. Here we go, the 5-door Corolla IM. He threw it down on his first run. He wants to get one of those top 5 spots. Can he do it? Osbo throws it in. Taps the wall, stays in it. A 92 on his first run. Goes into the groove, into the crease. You can see him working the wheel inside there. You really get a good snapshot seeing inside the cockpit of Osbo. Did that have the impact, the initiation, the fluidity, and the commitment that the judges are looking for?
Well, the initiation is a little bit of a roll in here. The judges have definitely been scoring that snappy, quick rate to angle initiation. very high, and they're really looking for that on the style side. But other than that, Osbo was deep into the bank, tight on that first inside clip, locked into this second outer zone. Nice, fluid, and just snappy transition in that inside clip number 2. And a great overall performance. He's just outside the top 5 right now. He's got that 92. He's trying to get up into that top 5 if he can. He needs a 93 or higher.
Where is Osbo going to land on his second run? Is he going to get one of those top spots? And no, he does not. 92, a 92 for Osbo. So, right now, he's sitting in 6th position. But Dean Kearney, not only does he hold his fate if he's going to see head-to-head battles tomorrow, his position in the championship, 2nd currently, but also, if he does not get a score on the board, Frederick Osbo will be getting unofficially a bye run out of 32 and just quickly advancing him on in the top 16, which would shake things up. So big repercussions off of Dean Carnage Kearney's run here for this Oracle Lighting Achilles Radial Dodge Viper. No pressure, buddy. So Dean Kearney, 2nd to last driver on their 2nd run, 1 more driver left, and it's his fellow Irishman of James Dean, as they are going to be dancing their way awkwardly, potentially into the top 32 tomorrow. And here we go. Quickly, the Achilles hook up and launch him into the wall that broke him off earlier, but now it stands on it, past the point of no return. Good angle there, good composure. Now into the groove goes Dean. Stands on the smoke pedal. Flicks it into that 2nd front clip. Into the touch and go. 1 more clip away from getting a score on the board. And another sigh of relief from another driver. So both him and Gucci score, and they'll be in the show.
Well, Dean, as you said, very excited to get through that 2nd run after the 0 on run number 1. He will make his way into competition. Pretty decent run here, you know, even with that 0 and getting into the competition here with this scored run. He still wants to get the highest score possible in order to find himself in the right position in the bracket. Try to fight his way to another final here after his great performance at Road Atlanta. So Dean Kearney crossing the finish line, and now just waiting on where he's going to slot in to tomorrow's bracket.
Lock it in. A 72, so not the best score for Dean, but he is again breathing a sigh of relief after getting to the wall on the first run. And now James Dean, a Dean of a different kind. Jimmy Dean the Machine, Mean Green, House of Clean. Here we go, James Dean. He is our current Formula Drift points leader. He is 2 for 3, winning round 1 in Long Beach, winning round 3 in Atlanta. And he wants to put it down here again. So James Dean, not one of those top 5 spots. And here we go. James Dean, that Word House Drift Team S15 kind of rolls into it. He knows he has a score. Whoa, big angle there. Almost coming unbound. In that transition, you see some disruption in the attitude of the vehicle. Get down here, really kind of crashing around on the throttle. And now powers through. And there is James.
A lot of mistakes. Nice job right there on that 2nd inside clip. I love the fluidity here. The transition's just beautiful. And then that final inside clip, nice and tight. Let's see where he goes in.
All right, and a 94 gets him that final unofficial bye spot. So a 94 for James Dean on his 2nd run, betters his 1st run. So congratulations to our current points leader. Again, unofficially puts him in the 5th spot. So taking a look at the remaining schedule here, the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet. This is round 4 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Jared Dienda, Ryan Sage, Lorette Nick will be here tomorrow. Montaigne will be getting some insight. As far as tomorrow's schedule, though, there are the webcast times. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then top 16, 5 o'clock local time. for tomorrow's schedule. As far as today, we do have a dedicated autograph session, and that will begin shortly as soon as the drivers get back, get prepped, and you get to meet and greet your favorite drivers. Thanks for joining us out here on behalf of the whole team and the whole staff. We'll see you tomorrow at those dedicated times, as I just explained to you. And thanks for joining us here. This is round 4, the Advanced Auto Parts Gauntlet of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you online. We'll see you another time. Send it.